G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing today? It is a wonderful 24 degrees. And it's as it's getting warm up, I mean, despite today is going to get thunderstormy in like a few hours or something, I thought I'd get in and do a cheeky video. But the weather is warming up, relatively speaking, so I was given an idea in the Discord by a lovely lad by the name of Mini Hulk. And I thought it would be a great idea to turn into a video as well, because I agreed with him. And that is how to stay cooler in the warmer riding months. Now, obviously, being 23 degrees, 24 degrees, it isn't so bad yet, but it is getting there slowly but surely. And I know it tends to get there all of a sudden, as opposed to you think yourself you're getting relatively okay, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's 35 degrees Celsius, and you go, ah. What is that in Fahrenheit? I don't know. All I know is 100 degrees hot. So if you're riding around the 100 degree days, you sort of know what's going on here. It gets rather uncomfortable rather fast. I don't know why I decided to come through this little busy section here, but change of scenery is always nice, especially during the day, because it's nice and sunny. I wasn't going to go out to the mountains for 2 seconds of riding, because by the time I get there, the thunderstorms might roll in, and I don't really want to be stuck an hour away just to get some sick shots for the camera, because I have to go back to work later. I don't really want to be drenched. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the topic at hand, shall we? Now, the topic of staying cool in summer. Now, there's multiple ways one can do it. Now, look, I'm not going to advocate for it, but I'm a serial t-shirt rider, and I'm going to continue being a t-shirt rider because I like the luxury of wearing a t-shirt because it's nice and cool. But obviously, if you fall off your bike while wearing a t-shirt, it's not going to be a great old time. So perhaps just be careful if you're going to be that kind of person. Oh, look, mate, the boy's in blue. I think he looked at me before. So wearing less gear is not the ideal way of cooling down, but it is definitely one of the surefire ways of doing it. Just know that if you are deciding to be a little silly goose like me and wear less gear, you are accepting that you are taking a lot more risk while riding, and that's fine. But if you do fall off and hurt yourself, just know that no one's going to be sympathizing with you as much as if you were fully kitted, alright? So without too much enforcement of that one, just be careful, okay? It works, but it is more dangerous. Now, on the same level of kit is summer gear exists, okay? So you don't have to go it alone with nothing. Summer kit does exist now, so you can buy mesh things with plenty of vents in them, and who did what now, because, well, they invented them for a damn reason. So get out there and use the summer gear, okay? You get lighter gear in terms of pants, you get lighter jackets, summer gloves. Like these gloves I'm wearing now are definitely much better for the weather than my usual ones, you see, because like, got vents on all the fingers, knuckles and everything, so they breathe significantly better. Thank you, sir. Turning in front of an oncoming bike, fantastic idea. Wearing your meshy jackets open up all the vents, you get a lot more airflow, therefore you tend to die less in all that lovely summer weather. And just be careful. This bird is not paying attention. We're letting him through for a reason. Isn't driving in traffic, isn't it just a good old time? We don't even have to let them through here. I don't have to do this anymore. What am I doing? Let's sneak our ass through here. Whew, I'm sick and tired of this shit. But yeah, so your gear, alright, it's one of the main things you can change, alright? It's one of the most effective things you can do straight away. Now, the next thing, I don't know how effective it is in a long stint, but I know it can be effective in a short stint. That's one of those like little ice jackets you can put underneath your gear. So you freeze it overnight, and then you wear it underneath your gear. Look, I don't know about them. I know if you're doing a short little stint in a 40 degree day, it can be fantastic, but on a bigger ride, I don't think it's as effective. But hey man, it's something, alright? So if it's possible, give that a crack. I reckon one of the most undervalued sort of pieces of kit you can get in a hot day is one that's never ever talked about in the videos like this, and that is a hydration pack. you don't realise how hot you fucking get when it's 35 degrees and onwards. So having a hydration pack will not only keep you hydrated and stop you from passing out anyway, not that that tends to happen, but still, you don't want to take the chance. But water cools you down. You put some nice cold water in a hydration pack and bam, you're getting hot, have a sip, fantastic, alright? Now, hydration packs aren't that expensive and they're relatively easy to maintain, so just look them up. I'd suggest that 100%. I don't personally own one, but that's because I'm made of very little money and I don't have time and money to buy all the gizmos that I love to recommend, but it's definitely one of those things I would happily recommend with a smile on my face every single time, because the benefits outweigh the negatives of the cost. But man, if you're committed to your full gear, especially if you're a leather king in all weathers, mate, you're a gimp god in summer. This truck is all over the place. A hydration pack will make all the difference to you when you are suffering when it's 1,000 degrees, man. Oh, telling you, give it a crack. You won't regret it. That's one of those few things that should be on every biker's radar, at least if you haven't got one yet, you should know about them. But that is most definitely there. Now, there's not too much more you can really get into for cooling down, because unfortunately bikes don't have any like joys of air conditioning. You can't really put tubes and stuff to try and funnel air into your clothes. That's not safe. If you have a detachable windshield, I'd actually recommend you taking it off now, because obviously having the wind on the bike versus on you means you're going to be cooler versus warmer. So the more deflection of wind you have, the warmer you're going to be. So if you're riding a sports bike, all those fairings, I'm sure you know about it, those bikes get warm. So obviously, if you have a windshield on, let's say, a naked bike, you're stopping all that precious wind from hitting you in the chest and cooling you down. Now, sure, it might be warm wind, but I'll take warm wind over no wind, you know what I mean? Oh, dude. And if you're riding one of those air-cooled Harleys, unfortunately, there's nothing much you can do. Your legs are going to be toasty boys for the whole of the riding day. That's just the nature of the bike, though, unfortunately. Can't do too much about that. Lucky last, because there's not too much more I can think of. But if you do think of any more, please write them down in the comment section below, because I would like to know more if you know more, you know? Because there's a few things that obviously slip my mind every now and then, and that's just the human experience, really. But the last thing I can sort of give you is more of an advice tip than anything, and that's don't overwork your bike on a hot day. Alright? So let's say, in a hypothetical, you got your coolant all ideal, if you got a liquid cooled bike or your oil cooled bike, everything, all your fluids are topped up, everything's working as it should. But if you're fanging it everywhere at top speed and mark Jesus, the bike is now working harder than it needs to, therefore the engine will be getting warmer than it has to, and bam, your legs and therefore the rest of you is just going to get rather toasty rather quickly, and it's just not necessary. Now look, I can see there's a bit of an argument for the faster you go, the cooler your bike's also going to get, but it depends on the conditions. If you're riding in the desert with an air-cooled bike, I think you got to be moving, but I'm sure there's diminishing returns, but I don't know. If you're in a lot of stop-go traffic, try and get out of it, or lane filter. Lane filtering is definitely... You know what? That'll be my last tip. Lane filter if you can. Legally, of course. And if you're not legal, well, I'm not condoning it, but that's just your country's fault for being soft in that regard. Because obviously, the longer you're sitting still on a bike, especially the bigger engine ones, the more that bitch is just heating up and heating up and heating up. Because, look, I understand when you're moving, the bike cools down. So, I don't know, boss, try not to sit still for as long as you can, but I think you get the gist of it now. Movement is good. Don't fang it fucking everywhere, because if you're stuck in stop and go traffic and you're fanging it, stop, the bike's going to heat up rapidly. Try and wear the right gear for the conditions. Don't wear your winter gear, obviously. If you have a leather jacket, sometimes they got like a little weather lining inside you can take out. Hydrate, whether it be before you ride, but if you can get one during your ride, they are great. And yeah, I don't really think there's too much more you can add to the ride in that regard, honestly. So if you do know of anything, please let me know, because knowledge is power and whatnot. Then I'd love to actually learn some more, because I feel like my knowledge has a few gaps in it. And I'm man enough to admit that. So if you do know anything, let me know. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have time for today. I do hope you have enjoyed the content. Do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord, message me there if you must. But yeah, that'll be all for the day. Take it easy, keep it cheesy, and peace. Bye!